Hey, Path to Freedom listeners. Welcome back to my channel and thank you for tuning in again. Today I actually wanted to do something about trauma and how you can build up trauma from your childhood up until now, and then if something really bad happens to you, that all the trauma that you have experienced, that it comes back up again and basically to haunt you, and that you have to deal with it. So as I was getting ready actually to just film this vlog, something happened. I was in quite good spirits, and I wasn't able to say that from yesterday or the day before. For 2 days I have been quite in kind of a dark mode. Something triggered at work, and then all of a sudden your mindset is in a spiral, and really emotional and stuff. So today it's a good day, I would say. All in all, like a good day, and I am trying to keep positive, and people also in my direct environment do keep telling me like, hey, try not to think of everything that is happening to you, because actually the more you think about it, the more you're feeding into this demon that is haunting you, and he is basically living off that energy that you are feeding it with by just giving it attention. But at the end of the day, I'm human, and things are happening that are actually affecting me, and I can be as tough as I want to be, but at times I do break down because then it's too much, so, and that's what I had for the last 2 days, that I was really like in a breakdown mode, kind of. And so anyway, I woke up and thought like, okay, I will film a new vlog, as I haven't been vlogging lately, and I do want to keep up with vlogging, and hopefully someday it will be a bit more positive than how it is right now. And so macOS, I'm using a MacBook, and it recently had an update, and initially I was reluctant to update it because I know like it always takes such an amount of my energy just to update something, because I know if I update, then I have to log out of my system and then insert the password and everything, and during this update, this person will take that as an advantage to install things on my laptop. So I will just walk you quickly through what just happened. So MacBook updated to 12.6, and while I was updating, everything was fine. And then once I start logging back in after the update, I am using, for example, my language settings is in Dutch, and so when you start your computer, it will show you the Dutch keyboard, or the keyboard in the language setting that you have your computer in. And so mine is in Dutch, but for some reason it will always trigger first US keyboard, and then from the US within 2 seconds it will then switch to Dutch. This is how I actually can tell that this person is remotely accessing my laptop. So that means that he is using Bluetooth and is able to use his own internet, because my internet is not on. And then that way he can install whatever he needs to install, because obviously when the update happens, everything that he has previously installed will be wiped. So after updating the macOS new software to 12.6 version, I saw on security and privacy, I went on to security and privacy basically, and I wanted to check if my settings were still the same. He always changes that. So if I go into security and privacy, and then I will click on, or I will see, for example, allow apps downloaded from App Store. Normally, I only use apps downloaded from App Store, and the rest is disabled. And he had changed it to allow apps downloaded from App Store and identified developers. That's the one thing. And then he also changed my settings for, in general, on the security setting. I normally have it that after a minute, when your device is on, that it will turn off after a minute. He had set that on immediately. So if I step away from my laptop and then immediately it goes on black, it will literally start up the computer again. And then he also deleted the fingerprint that I had installed on there. And so while I was trying to reset everything that he had changed, I wasn't able to use any of the security and privacy settings. It was literally not allowing me to do anything. Like, I couldn't do anything. No matter which key I pressed on, it wasn't working. And this went on for about a minute until I closed my laptop and then re-logged in again. And so I couldn't make any changes to it. And then I also viewed under the Bluetooth, that Bluetooth was still on. And so that means that he has already seen the new password that I created. And I couldn't also, on the folder sharing, it was set to remote Apple events, and it was set to allow administrators. So he has made himself administrator, obviously, to be able to do what he can do on it. And I had this disabled before, you know. What else? Yeah. Also, when I start my computer, it will go back to internet settings where you have the Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is automatically disabled on my side. I only use Ethernet, so I have literally disabled Wi-Fi. But when I log in, I always see that Wi-Fi is enabled. And on the recent applications, I saw that folders were open, like Mail and Safari, and I hadn't opened anything. So that shouldn't be on there because I cleaned everything before I closed it, just to keep my sanity, basically. So this is what he keeps doing, and I keep writing about it, you know. I have a whole book of it, everything that is constantly happening. When people try to ask you like, oh, but how is he hacking you? How do you know that he's hacking you? How do you know? And Mac is so safe. No, it's impossible that somebody can hack a Mac. No. Oh my God. That is one of the most annoying things that you will hear. People who can't find themselves in your shoes because they can't comprehend that there are evil people out there who are capable of these things, or that they are, even if they are not evil, that there are skilled people out there who are capable of these things. And then they will ask you like, yeah, but what kind of motive does he have? Does people really need to have a motive? Like, do bad people need to have a motive? Does a pedophile need a motive? Does a murderer need a motive? Does a criminal need a motive? You know, so it's just annoying. I mean, if you can't relate, just don't say anything, please. Because it's really insulting. It's insulting my intelligence to even doubt that I am imagining these things. You know. So yeah, enough about it. What I actually wanted to focus on today is trauma. Like all the trauma that we go through in life. And I know myself in terms of, as I had to, at a very young age, I had to be very independent and be strong. not always allowing things to affect you and quickly moving on if things happen, and like putting it in a place where you literally never try to look back until something bad happens, and then you will deal with it, but you always just get over it again, pick yourself up and just dust things off and just go. And this is literally what I've been doing. But today and just these past days, I've been thinking like all the trauma in my life actually that I have been through, and that I actually never had any professional help to deal with those trauma. And I think when people, growing up with my friends, for example, they will tell me like, oh gosh, you are so, that I don't easily trust people, Well, in general, I think I trust everybody until they prove me otherwise. But I do not allow people to come into my circle until I know they are worthy. So I can tell you a lot and you will think like, oh my gosh, she's so open. No, these are just the things that I can share with you, but it doesn't mean that I am actually allowing you into my circle. So to come into my intimate circle, that's very rare. And the reason is, I think up until before age 6, I would say before my 6th year, I had been hurt by adults who were supposed to be my caretakers. I think the first event that I can remember in my life is one day I was playing with like the kids from the neighborhood, and I don't know what kind of games we were playing, climbing trees and stuff. And I think I fell and hurt my toe or my foot somehow. And it was really painful. So I went home and I think I was crying about it, that my feet was so painful. I don't know, maybe it was broken. I don't know. And so this person, this lady or young, I don't know, maybe she was young. But anyway, this female that was supposed to take care of me, because my father was like on a business trip and he wasn't home. And this lady my mother was also traveling. So I was alone with this lady and she was supposed to take care of me. And I told her what happened, like that I hurt my foot and it was paining me, And she boiled water. And normally when the water is boiled, and this is how they will kind of treat any injuries, like, oh, you need some massage, and then they will do it with lukewarm water. So she boiled the water, and I was thinking like, okay, she's going to add cold water to it just to mix the temperature and make it the right temperature. And so she poured the water that she boiled into a bucket, and then she called me to her. And I literally, with big eyes, I looked at her like, yeah, but it's still hot, And so she said, no, come here, give me your foot and stuff. And I was literally screaming at her, like, it's still hot, you need to add cold water to it, And she didn't listen to me. And literally the hot water that she boiled, she put it in a bucket and then grabbed me and put my foot in that hot water. So obviously, I think I had more than 3rd-degree burns because my foot was like literally raw. And so, yeah, so this is the first event that I can remember before my 6th year, that some woman put my foot in hot water. It's like a kettle that you boil water in a kettle, and then instead of letting it cool down, you put a child. I don't know, I think I was like 4 years or something. But she put my foot in that thing in hot water. Like, what was going through her mind? How much did she hated me to be able to do that? A child, what could I possibly have done to her? So I was thinking about it because I was speaking to a family member and she was telling me like, no, actually, she recommended me to do something about, like maybe I should look into spirituality, like not in terms of religion, but more into spirituality and thinking about negative energies that can attach themselves to you and stuff. So I spoke to this person who was doing this consult, and she said maybe it's somebody that you have done something against, and I'm like, that's actually something that I've been thinking about every day since this whole event started 3 years ago. Like, what could I possibly have done to this person? And I can't think of anything. I know I'm outspoken, like, yeah, if you attack me, I will attack you back. I mean, that's nature. That's natural. If you insult me, I will insult you. Like, the hell. Unless I am the one that is attacking you, but that's also not me, So if I have said anything to him, yeah, then you provoked me somehow. So just to think like, okay, you must have done something. That's why this is happening to you. I don't know what people think. So I would like to ask these people, like when I was that age, for this grown-up person to put my foot in boiling water, did I literally do something to her? Or was it pure hate that she had for a child? What kind of spirit do you have to be able to do these kind of things? I can't imagine that I will take care of a child and do that to a child. I can't imagine that. And let alone this person that is stalking me and making my life miserable and just knowingly destroying every fiber in me. I will never be able to do that. If I don't like you, I will distance myself from you. So, yeah, this was the first encounter that I remember as a child of the evil that can reside in human beings, in people. And the second one was another caretaker. And the funny thing is, all these events, they were never related to me, these people. But I was in their care. And so maybe that's why. Anyway, the second time, again, I am being on the caretaker with other people. But this person was actually married to a family member of mine. And again, under the age of 6, this is all I can remember. And she is treating me like the help in the house, like a child. And it normally happens in my culture when your parents are not there, that other people can mistreat you. So instead of dividing chores among their children, among all the children, they will take the child that is not theirs and treat them like a maid. And so in this place, I was being treated like a maid, because my parents weren't there. At that time, my father was already deceased and my mother was traveling. And so I was brought into this household whereby this woman was supposed to take care of me. And one day she was going to the market and I was supposed to take care of the food that was on the stove. I think it was like pop or something, And I was to steer it and to be careful to not let it burn, otherwise her anger and fury will be on me. And I knew her anger and fury. That means I will have to swallow horrible tablets or get with the belt, you know? So all I remember is I took a stool because the stove was too big for me. I was very small as a child. And just to get to where the pan is, this big pot of pap on fire, on the stove, and I had to stir it. So I was standing on this stool and trying to stir it like this little child that I was, alone in this massive kitchen, the stove bigger than I am. And because of that, I am standing on a stool to be able to stir it. And while I was doing it, I don't know what happened. This whole pot fell, and then it fell on my leg. And again, more than 3rd-degree burn, like literally the rawness of my skin up onto my bone. You could see it. So this is the 2nd time I got burned in my life because of an adult. But this time, she didn't do it. She didn't push anything on me or something. But it was still negligence. Why is a child supposed to have this responsibility? A child less than 6 years old. So I got burned, and the funny thing is, it was the other leg. The first time was my foot on the other side and so not the same leg. And it took also a very long time to heal. And these are the things sometimes when this episode that happens to me, I think about it, like how much people actually hate me to be able to do all the cruelty that they are doing to me. And then I think of why. What is it about me that they so dislike? As an adult, I can imagine maybe if I'm speaking to you or something and I say something to offend you, I can understand that part. But as a child, I can't understand that part. Like how much they must hate you to be able to do these cruel things to you. So, these are some of the traumas. And it's not only that. I think in general, I never had a really good childhood. And when my mother died, actually, this was also how my connection with the Netherlands ended, because I hated it. It was a place of unhappiness, of sorrows, And although I did enjoy my my early 20s, and that was because I kind of found a place where I thought that I belonged. So I don't know. I think in general, we need to be careful with the people we surround ourselves with and who you actually trust. So it's true when they maybe say, like, I don't trust people. It's because I know how cruel people can be. I have been at a workplace, for example. The moment they see you, they get angry. All because I put on makeup and I wear dresses and skirts. They get angry and then they start sabotaging you before they have even known who you are as a person. They have already made up their mind to just dislike you because you remind them of something that either they are not, or something that they want to be. I have seen also random people in the street just looking at me and then looking so angrily. And these are not mad people. No, they're just normal people. But they look at you with anger. Like, why? How is it that I can see a beautiful woman and I can compliment her? Like, oh my gosh, she's so pretty, Or like, oh, your dress is so nice. Where did you get it from? Simple. But other people, they can just see you and hate you without ever having spoken a word to you. I don't know how racism works, But I think this is more than racism. This is spite. This is a grudge. This is revenge. Just the sick, sick hatred. So these are thoughts that are always going through my mind. Like, why am I so hated for people to do such evil things to me? People I don't know, who I've never spoken to, who I don't believe that I have done anything against. And I feel like I'm never protected. I remember one incident that I was working for this awful, awful German company. And this CEO, he didn't like me from the beginning. When you have this interview and you know that you don't connect with those people, like your energy just don't connect. And I just knew it. Like, if it was just up to him, I would never have taken a job. I really liked the manager and she and I were great, but I knew this guy didn't like me. And he treated me also like that. Like, the cleaner was even more than I was, He just tolerated me. Until one day, this senior engineer felt offended because I was trying to solve a problem that was brought to my attention. And I did it in a way where he felt that he was embarrassed, And so he felt like he was embarrassed and that he had lost face. And because I was trying to do the best for the company. And this person was able to abuse me, to yell at me. I never had anywhere at the workplace where people will actually yell at you, You get all these covered microaggression, but this was the first time that somebody was publicly like yelling. And this was in Munich. He was yelling at me like, oh my gosh, I think this was the first workplace that I ever worked where I literally left crying because of this monster. And you know what? He got away with it because my feelings were not irrelevant. He was seen as somebody who was of value to the company, and he could abuse me however he wished. He is white male engineer, and I am black female, insignificant. I was like the worst place that I've ever worked because he couldn't not just abuse me. They forced me to apologize to him, and I did it. And then again, he yelled, started screaming at me. And again, I left crying, calling my manager and telling her what happened. Because I knew I was in my right. I didn't even want to apologize to him because I didn't do anything to him. But I was forced to apologize to him. I will never forget this incident in that company, that particular company. I think I will remember it until I die. This is how much trauma that company caused me. It took me 5 years to get over it. and not by going into therapy. I had dreams about that company every day, about the people that were working there every day for 5 years. And since then, I lost my ambition to just work for companies because I know how they treat you. It doesn't matter in what role, how much I'm earning. I can earn 100,000. I'm still will be treated like I'm the cleaner, or even less than a cleaner. You know, and this is the kind of world that I operate in. I'm always the only one there of my skin color, and at that level, disrespected by people and allowed to be disrespected. They will tell you, oh no, we are all supporting you and everything. But that person that does it, he gets either promoted or a soft reprimand. But you, if I would dare to mess up a little bit, I will be made like the most horrible human being because I will give in to the stereotype. And this is also something that I always think about when I'm at these type of workplaces, that I have to represent my race, because if I do something bad, it will not only affect me, it will also affect them for the next person that might apply for a role in that company. If I give them a bad example, the next person will not get in. You know, these are the things that I have to deal with. So yeah, trauma upon trauma. Now, 2 days ago, I just noticed how angry I was. And justifiably angry. I am upset. I am angry. Because things have happened to me and I didn't deserve it. And things still keep happening to me while I don't deserve it. So I think about things like why black women are labeled as angry black women, aggressive, you know, all these stereotypes, aggressive, victimhood, that you feel yourself as a victim. And they just keep going through my mind because everything that is happening, I can't help it. I have to think about it, and then I start analyzing the things that are happening. Like, am I at fault? What is the crime that I have done that I have to pay for it so severely? And it's a very lonely journey because I feel like I am alone in this. And no matter how nice people are and trying to support you, until they walk in my shoes, they will never understand the pain that I'm feeling every day, the hurt that is going through me. They will never understand it, you know, and they will tell you, pray about it. And I keep praying. Like for 3 years, I keep praying that it will stop. But it doesn't.